Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, you Ahwathiam, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson.
And to the black community specifically, like, are we perfect? Cause we must be perfect, because nobody can tell black people anything. If I get up here and I preach to the black community, it's, oh, you hate black women, or you are Uncle Tom, you a Sambo, you supporting whites. Like, nah, bro. If someone's saying something to shine light on an issue in the community that can probably improve the community, what's the problem? If Dr. Umar said, and y'all know y'all love Dr. Umar, I don't know why. You know, he does say some legit stuff, but I give you that. If Dr. Umar, you know, shines light on an issue in the black community, y'all got a problem with him. White people can't do it. Black people can't do it. Who can do it? If a black woman do it, y'all call her a pick-me. Who can do it, bruh? So, I mean, y'all mad at Charlie Kirk, and he did say some wild thing. He did spew some wild stuff about the black community. We ain't gonna sit here and debate that. That's not a debate. But I think his intent was, you know, just to speak the truth. That's all, you know. And the truth doesn't always feel good. Like, for instance, when he brings up the black-on-black crime, you know, people don't realize, like, yeah, we do unalive each other more than any other race unalives us. It's a fact. Is it comfortable to hear? No. But y'all hear him say it. Now y'all talking about he hate black people. It's a fact. It don't matter who say it. It's a fact, bruh. So the black community specifically, we just too sensitive, man. And because you don't like what someone said, you get online and start celebrating their assassination. At the end of the day, we all Americans. We all human. You're sick and you're evil. Like, this shit is crazy, bro. I never thought I would see something like this in my life, man. And it's sad.
He's right, bro. Like, honestly, there is nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean nobody, that can hold the black community accountable. They'll try to cloak it and try to act like, well, no, it's how you say it, or you're too abrasive or whatever. It doesn't matter. Listen, this is not the first time that the community or the community actually celebrated somebody's death. They do it all the time. They did it to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels actually was much tougher on men than he was on women, but he was tougher because he wanted them to be the best. He wanted them to be great. He wanted to open up satellite spaces where, young black men would be able to go and then enjoy themselves. And that's one of the things that he would talk to me about on a regular basis. But they don't care. They don't care about that. They're not interested in hearing none of that. They only want to do what they want to do.
Yes, so this is Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, that he is the Father, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, right? Through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me, and set me on my feet, that I may hear him that spake with me, right? So what are we hearing? We're hearing forth the 100% doctrine, the truth in the last days, right? the Lord has raised up the prophets, right? And it really ain't for anyone else to say to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, but the prophets, right? A lot of people can speak, but it's for the prophets to speak, because even in that thing, the Lord said what? And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee, right, the prophet, to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation. See, so the Lord already know that these people are rebellious. So they're not going to listen to you. Why? He says that rebel against me. See, they rebel against the Heavenly Father, right? Just like you and the guy who right there, Anton Daniels, he's definitely rebelling against the Most High. He's supposed to be a so-called foundational Black American. Dr. Umar is going on this Pan-Africanism madness. The rest of our people are into Islam and Buddha and oh wait, don't forget about the other white meat, JC, right? You're so interwoven and then not into the truth, man. The truth has been presented, but you're not listening, right? You trying to kiss the white tee's ass as if that's going to do you a favor, as if that's going to be beneficial to you, right? But we're coming into the last days of the last days, and that video you just put got seen by a lot of people, and we're coming to the time that people are going to have to go amongst their own, right? You're going to have to go amongst your own, because race wars and division is very much here, right? So that may not play out as well for you as you think, because this place is crumbling, it's collapsing, right? They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even to this day. So it's not an amazement that they didn't listen to you. They didn't listen to any of these other people. Hey, and they didn't listen to the Heavenly Father. But the Lord said he's still going to send us to you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. Why? So that way you don't have a cloak. You're not going to have an excuse that no one didn't present to you the true names, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Can't say that didn't happen. Giving you the true 100% understanding. Yeah. This is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. It says, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, right? Because the Israelites are scattered around the world. The entire earth, Israelites have been scattered, right? That's Deuteronomy 28:64, right? For Yahweh have spoken, I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me, right? And so that goes for you, right? It goes for all of us has rebelled against the Lord in some type of fashion. But the Lord has raised up the prophets, to send forth the prophets to break these things down and to get you to come back to your power, right? Not to lean on and trying to join hand in hand with the wicked, because you joining hand in hand with the wicked, they will not be unpunished, right? Because because if you're talking about truth, how is it that you're all about all this truth, but you ain't bringing up any of the atrocities that the so-called white man has done, right? You're not bringing up the thing that's happening right now, the G-side in Gaza right now. You're not bringing that up. Somehow let's gloss over all these other different atrocities, the drugs and things that brought forth the conditions of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, of these so-called cities, Chicago and things like that, right? Right? So it says, the The ox knoweth his owner, the ass his master's crib. But Israel, right, Yasha Allah, he prince of the power, doeth not know, my people do not consider. So you're not considering that the things that the prophets are set up to tell you, could they be true? Because you're probably thinking like, oh, well, how was that? How are you the Israelites? But no one ever grills or even asks for any receipts for the so-called the ones who say that they're in the land and they fulfill prophecy. Which, if you know anything about the scriptures, how is it possible that they're even fulfilling prophecy? It says when the children get in that land, there'll be no war, right? There'll be no weapons. They're going to completely dissolve the weapons. King David would be there. Said the Lord would be there. So where's the Lord? Right? Yahushai. Right? Or even if you want to believe in JC. Right? Where's JC at? And all that. Majority of them don't believe in the Messiah. Or they're still waiting on the first appearance of the Messiah. Meanwhile, death and destruction is going on, and they're still waiting on the Messiah to even come, right? Which means you don't have there's no atonement for your sins. Could that be why so-called black people are killing each other? Because there's no atonement for your sins. When you just wild out, trip out, hey, there is no tomorrow. Who gives a damn? There's no hope. But see, the prophets are set up to show you that there is hope. Yahushua did come the first time, and he is on the way for his second appearance, and he's not going to meet you as a man. Therefore, what? Sinful nation, people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers that are corrupters, they have forsaken Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. See, they are gone away backwards. Why should ye be stricken anymore? Right, and that's where we're at right now. We're in the time where the Lord is fed up. Right. He's not going to allow you to keep going into different captivities, going into another slavery, going into another thing, because obviously you're not learning. Why should you be stricken anymore? Ye will revolt, right? And that's you understand. Our people been through so many different afflictions, so many different things that's been going on, right? What is it? Soldiers go through this thing that they call it PTSD or something like that. When they've been through trauma, well, we went through slavery, seeing people murdered and killed and this and that. And science will tell you that trauma can get passed on to the children. Then you got the ghettos, the vadios, and the reservations, who they're like war zones. That's why you got a place called Chirac. You know what I'm saying? Right? You got places like, what is that? Is it is that in Virginia or something like that? They used to call it Vietnam. You got little neighborhoods that's like war zones. More PTSD, more things carried down to the children, right? You even have a scientific I don't know how you say it, but they basically took a father elephant, right, live, like real life, took the male elephant away from the elephants, and the young bull elephants were killing other elephants without the male being there. It had a natural aggression towards other elephants. And this is real life. You can look it up, right? Then they took another set of elephants, left the male there, and when the young bull elephants grew up, they all had stability. They all were very profitable bulls or males within their society. Go all the way back to slavery, where they separated the fathers from the family. Fast forward to the time of Section 8 and all these different things, the so-called help that they were given, which was no help, telling a woman that she can have the house, she can have all the different things, but you cannot have the husband in the house. Right? You can't have that stability. Right? So what happens? Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is what? Sick. And the whole heart faints, right? La'ab, your mind. Now the mind, the thing is not in a good condition, right? Now add that to heroin, cocaine, different wages and different economic collapse and what's that called? Inflations and poor conditions. See, somebody like Anton Daniel, he got his little million, and now, forget the other people who, and now you look down, you do the same thing that the Edomites do, but you're not even as rich as them. These people are trillionaires, right? It says from the soles of the feet even into the head, there is no soundness. So now when you look at them killing each other, unaliving each other, Salakia, unaliving each other, going back and forth over hoods and blocks and things that they don't own, or they used to own, because they were some of these Jakes were Native Americans, but they got blended into the slaves, right? So some of these people are Native American. This is their land, right? And then some of them are actually, they got shipped here from so-called Africa, which really are actually Israelites, right? Right? We know these things, man, right? Because we fit prophecy. It said Deuteronomy 28:68. You should go into Egypt again with ships. So we know that Egypt has to be talking about America. Why? Because was it 2nd Ezra chapter 15? Was it verse? Was it 10? Talks about the Lord shall smite Egypt with plagues as before. So what Egypt is the Lord going to smite with plagues again as before, right? Just like Revelation 11:8, the Lord said, what you should, that their dead bodies, right? Which meaning the state of our mentality, we're like in a dead state. We didn't know who we are. We wasn't quickened, wasn't brought alive through the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the scriptures. In a place that what is Sodom and Egypt. So what's also going on in this place? Sodomy, right? So when you got all these different conditions, there's no soundness, and in it, but wounds, right? The hurt that we had through slavery, the conditions that we're in, that's just wounds. And and bruises and putrefying sores, they have not been closed, right? Who has actually helped our condition from the time of slavery to now, right? Who's paid for the great rob and murders of our people, the taking little babies out of their mother's hands and putting it into a pit for alligators to grab them. When have they paid for that? But the whole thing is they don't want to hear about that. But you know what they could bring up? Chicago. What about Chicago? What about the ghettos? Why? What about all these different things? And see, it ain't the matter of fact that of this dude is not saying something real. You know what? That is a real thing. But what is his motive behind bringing it up? Is it truly to betterment us? Or is it to make so-called white people feel superior? Right? Though I did a video the other day, it was a little Edomite, little or what perceived to be an Edomite, little child, and he broke it down that 57% of crimes are done by so-called white men, and black so-called black people do not commit more crimes. White people commit more crimes in America and in the world for that fact of the matter. So who heals up our bruises and our wounds, or say something but don't have an alternative motive behind it? It'd be okay. I'd be good with him saying something if it wasn't an alternative motive behind it. But they are enemies, so they're gonna have an alternative motive behind it. See, but for you to go for the okie doke and side with it as if they don't have an alternative motive, that's insane. Yes, the putrefying sores, they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment, right? They came to us, oh man, you know what? You guys are the Israelites, and let's do something to build these people up. The things that they did do, they just stripped it all away, right? Which really was nothing. When you built up women and put women in these things and change the order so the woman's making more money, or she has the house but can't let you live in it, you're changing the balance of the homes. But see, let's not speak about that, right? Let's just gloss over that stuff and not speak about the people who put us in the condition, or speak about how they got put in those conditions, right? But it says, your country is desolate, right? See, coming with being here in America, which, like I said, a lot of us are actually Gad. A lot of us are so-called Native Americans. So this is our land. But we also got our land over there in Israel, and our land is desolate, right? And your cities are burnt with fires, right? That's how they took over us, right? Your land, strangers devour it, right? See, and that's who's in the land right now? A stranger. Strangers in the land of Israel right now. They're not the people. They're not fulfilling prophecy, right? But let's just gloss over all the G-siding that's happening in Gaza, and let's not speak about that. Let's just speak about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk. Come on, bro. You know? In your presence, right? Even right here in America, Babylon the Great, where this land belonged to the Native Americans, they're devouring it right in their presence, and they're not supposed to say nothing? Nobody's supposed to bring up that this is the land of the so-called Native. They're on stolen. These are thieves and murderers on stolen property, speaking to you about theft and murder. That is some hypocritical madness, man. Oh, but that was a long time ago. But you could be so let me wait 10 years later, and then I'm gonna tell you about this, that, and another. Bro, you ain't gonna listen to me, right? Why should come on? That doesn't make no sense. In your presence, and it is desolate as the overthrow by strangers. See, yeah, they overthrew this place. They took over. They're doing their own thing. They then took the gold, the diamonds, the jewel, all those other things, and claimed it for themselves. And then turn around and make you pay taxes. Yeah, so this is Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth the man, see, and you haven't brought that up, right? Somehow they want to gloss over all that they stole a man. Not just the man, they stole the man and his entire country, right? You don't want to bring that up, huh? Let's just bring up Charlie Kirk. He now somehow I don't know. I don't want to hear nothing from. Come on. When you steal people and you murder, I don't want to hear someone speak about murders and things when you've done it and you haven't held accountable. Oh, well, that was my forefathers. That was this. That was that. Oh, yeah, really? Well, why are children missing to this very day? Why are people being unalived every day under your watch, right? You're the world's greatest military and this and this and that, and so on and so forth. Why is that happening now? Right? To this very day. Right? Now all of a sudden, you're trying to bring in your so-called military to each city. But what about way before that? Right? We could say, oh, Trump wasn't president at that time. Yeah, but we know at this point in time, there is a such thing as an Illuminati. There is a such thing as the New World Order. Right? These are things we might have been ignorant of before, but we're so close to the end, we know that people are getting a plantable device in their right hand or in their forehead, and they're able to buy and sell with these, or they're able to buy with them, right? They have purchasing power, right? Swiping their hand, which is in the scriptures, right? But let's gloss over all these different things that's actually happening, that actually matters, right? And he that stealeth the man and selleth him, right? So let's just not even pay attention to those things as if that's not important, right? Or if he be found in his hand. So when are you going to be found? On the second coming of the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls JC, which his real name is Yahweh Shai, man. Right? He's going to be found in his hands. He shall be put to death. See, and when you're joining hand in hand to the wicked, that's your fate. Because you're saying, hey, no, that's okay with me. It's okay he grabbed us, stole us, sold us. That's okay. I'm gonna just join hands with him. Nah. Yeah, this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe, which means judgment, weeping and gnashing of teeth, to him that buildeth a town by blood, right? You great robbed, murdered the Native Americans, took on this land, right? We can't talk about that no more, right? There is no statute of limitations on murder, right? You know, and establish a city, right, which is Babylon. That city being Babylon by iniquity, right? All sorts of sins, right? But let's not talk about that, right? Let's not talk about how so-called white people are the majority of crimes, right? Was going to the pseudoscience and then just believe the nonsense narrative that they say, right? That so-called black people are 13%. It's not possible. Doesn't make sense. And then how's 13% of a society going to make up more than half of the crimes? It doesn't make sense. You know? But the statistics is not adding up. So behold, is it not of Yahweh of hosts that the people shall labor in very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity, for the people, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that's dealing with the prophets. See, we're standing upon our feet now. So we're giving the 100% doctrine, 100% truth, according to the scriptures, the understanding, right? And now through the unicorn, right, which is the internet, right, it's being fulfilled all over the world, right, where the Israelites will be scattered to all around the world. But the main place is Babylon the Great, which is also known as Egypt, spiritually Egypt, right? That's where we're here, right? Glory of Yahweh as the waters cover the earth, right? Woe, which means judgment, destruction, weeping and gnashing of teeth, unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, right? Drugs, crack, heroin, woe, drink, right? A drink leaves you, what is it called? Intoxicated, right? Intoxicated. Drugs have you intoxicated, right? You're not able to think right, you know? So we know that the government, right? Go back, like I said, go back to the story of Freeway Rick, and there's plenty other stories that Jake's so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, where the government was joining hand in hand with them in movement and distributations of such drugs and elixirs and things like that, right? Things that leave you intoxicated, right? In some form or fashion, right? Not to mention the democracy that they call democracy, or you know, that leaves you drunk with the philosophy, making you think that you're free, right? You know, so they giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth the bottle to him, right? The crack, the heroin, the conditions, right? I put you in low wages, then I tax the hell out of you while you're in the low wages. You know what I mean? But let's not talk about that, right? It says, and maketh him drunken, also that he may, that thou mayest look upon his nakedness. Oh, look at him. He's not really that. Look at him. They're just those ghetto people, right? Which, when you go back to the word ghetto, it tells you it's a place where the Jews are at, right? The Israelites are at, right? You know, so we know they leave these things out, man. You know, showing you that they know who we are, right? They want to leave us exposed. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory, and saying that's what's happening. See, now Charlie Kirk, he talking all that madness and got shame for all that glory he thought he had, right? That's in the midst of his glory, right? Because that's where he got famous, right? Going to colleges and speaking in those manners, right in the midst of his glory. Hey, that's funny. I mean, you could say if you want to or not. You could. Hey, man. The Lord said that he would do these type of things, right? Right in the midst of your glory, and thou art full of shame for glory. Drink thou also. See, now it's going to happen to you. The curses are going to come upon the so-called white man. See, now they don't like it. And let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee. See, now it's their turn. See, now they don't want it now. Now it's, oh, no, I don't. Well, why should you be able to laugh at us? Right? And shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. Hey, man, there was a lot of shameful spewing, right? Yeah, so this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, right? So these people you put in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservation, all these people that you have basically had violence and things against all around the world, taking their minerals, their benefits, setting up puppet presidents and governments, right? That's not for the betterment of the people who live there. After you show up, right? Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, right? Basically making fun of you, laughing, even at your demise, right? Right? A taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. How long would these things go on? Would they bring in these empty scenarios of their science, falsely so-called, the pseudo science, and give you stats and things that's not real, right? Right? Talking points, but even if it was the truth, he's not telling the truth on behalf of actually giving a damn, right? Because if he's well, because they don't do that, because only white people are actually Americans, right? Everybody else has to have something in front of them and then American. Even the so-called Native American, you have to put Native and then you say American. But when it comes to white people, you just say American, right? So they don't see you as the same. That's the issue. Because if all these things are happening, we're all Americans, shouldn't you care? Shouldn't you care to actually do something else besides just pointing a finger? But you're not saying the truth because you're looking to make it better. You're looking to make yourself feel better, right? Use it as scapegoats, right? And that's all you ever did. It says in taunting power and saying to him, yeah, woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long unto him that layeth himself with thick clay, abatya, which is dead. So this place is filled with dead. It's crumbling, but then they have nerves to try to act like they're superior, like they're doing some great things, man. Like you're just so smart and so well. If you were so smart, your country wouldn't be falling apart from decay and debt, right? You would have never let them at all remove the gold standard to back the dollar bill, because there's nothing backing the dollar bill, which is why they're going to usher in and implement the micro CHIP, which is the mark of the beast, right? Yeah, so this is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, right? So going back into the prophets, are set up, right? Stood upon our feet. The Lord sent forth the prophets to bring out wisdom. Wisdom is being referenced to a woman, right? Because a woman is meant to be a nourisher and what do you call it? Nursing, right? She nourishes you and nurses you, right? She crieth in the chief place of concourse. Crying is meaning what? Bringing out there's something wrong, an alert, warning, sobbing. It's not a good situation. Mournful, right? Right? We're not in a good place. We're not in a place of mirth, right? So that's why we stand up. But the knowledge of Yahweh is going to be cover the earth as the waters, right? In the opening of the gates, right? So whatever major city that's out there, right? The Lord set up the prophets at the end of the day in the city. Even though this is the bloody city that they built on iniquity, but we have to go into this city that's built that was built on blood, that was established by iniquity, and we have to go through and cry. It's blood. We're in a dead state, right? We have to wake up the children of Israel because we're in such a dead state, so we're crying, right? In the city, she uttered her words, saying, "How long will ye simple ones?" Right? What's his name? Anton Daniels, you, sir, whatever your name is, that's coming on there with some BS. Dr. Umar, all you Jakes, any Israelite man, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native. How long will ye simple ones? Will ye love? Will you scorn? Right? Because that's all you're doing. You're just scorning, right? You're trying to mock the prophets. You're trying to mock situations and then go, "Oh, it's okay, Mr. Whiteman. We never going to say you did anything bad. We since we're talking the truth, we're not going to tell your truth, though, right? Don't worry about it, right? But you delight in scorning the prophets. You delight in scorning your own people, but never say anything about the so-called white man. This is why they give you the quotes and the things and their feelings about how you're really about your oppressor. You're really on the side of your oppressor, which obviously you must be, right? Because you're not on the side, first and foremost, of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, but then to speak against your people and never speak against what they're doing, the atrocities and all the things that's ever been done. You don't have nothing to say about that. You don't even got okay, forget about it. Let's talk. You can't say nothing about what's going on in Gaza. At least Ukraine, right? You can't say about nothing. Nothing. Everything's fine. You don't got nothing to say about the economy and the way they ran this thing. How the country's in debt. Huh? They got money for war, but can't feed the poor, so to speak. Like, you know what Tupac was saying? Huh? None of this comes to your mind. Yeah, all right, right. But the scorner delight in the scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Yeah, you ain't about really understanding the truth and what truth really is, right? So someone's telling the truth. Turn ye at my reproof, right? The prophets are up, giving you the 100% doctrine, giving you the truth on highways, the byways, digital epistles. Behold, feast your eyes, look, pay attention. I will pour out my spirit upon you, and I will make known my words unto you. Yeah, you don't know the Lord words of the Lord. This will empower you, it will lift you up upon your feet and give you a great understanding. Right? This dude is about to be out of here, man. Right? Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So basically, he's fallen. His world is fallen, bro. Because I have called, and ye refused, right? And you refused, but Esau's refused. So his world is about to collapse. He's refused all the way back in the time of the garden. He refused to listen to the Lord, right? He did everything opposite of what the Most High told him to do. And now you expect to get a reward? Hey, man. I have stretched out my hand, right, through the prophets, and no man regardeth. See? None of you Jakes are regarding it, and definitely Esau ain't regarding it, right? He's the death adder. It's not really meant for him. Who can make a crooked thing straight? The Lord made him crooked, right? He's meant to be crooked, right? And you can say, how can the Lord blame? Because he can. He's gonna blame him. He's gonna put him through the ringer, right, for the atrocities that he's done, right? No one goes unpunished, man. But ye have set at naught my counsel, and would none of my reproof, right? Hey, man. That goes with you for you Jakes, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and it definitely goes for Esau. He's the death adder. He puts the words of the Lord behind him. It doesn't matter that the Lord says you're not supposed to, hey, first of all, steal a man and then sell him. You ain't supposed to be doing nothing like that, right? You ain't supposed to, take a man's landmark, take over a man's whole country, move his landmarks, and then just make it yours. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to put people. We're at a bot yacht, clay. You're not supposed to just put people in debt and never have a what do you call it? A release, a year of release. You don't do that and not have a year of release. You don't till the ground and never have a land Sabbath. These are just things you don't do, right? But this guy, he does it. He said that none of my reproof. He says he's a godly man, right? I also would laugh at your calamities. See, so when it comes down to it, what the Lord set up things where once your calamity come, whether you're Charlie Kirk or anyone, right? The Lord will set up people to laugh at you, right? I will also laugh at your calamity, and I will mock, right? Because that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. That's what Trump is doing. That's what all these other people has done. They mocked when things happen to other people, but when it comes to you, now it's your turn to get mocked. Now you're all upset. I will mock when your fear cometh. I will mock, when your fear cometh. And when your fear cometh as a desolation and your destruction, right? Hey, he got put to death. He got destruction. Cometh as a whirlwind. Hey, all of a sudden, boom, just happened. When distress and anguish come upon you, right? And see, and now the whole America's all distressed. They're all in anguish. I feel something bad is going to happen. But, you're mad at someone who laughed at someone else's demise. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you a couple of little videos, little clippets.
Whatsoever, but when I say there's a historical precedent, I don't think people realize what I mean. This has happened before. People have indeed made fun of other people losing their lives, and he goes without saying that I want to give you a few receipts. You already know what this one is going to be, but it's going to get deeper and darker as we go on. Now, obviously, when George Floyd lost his life, people thought whatever they wanted to think about him, January 6th. What are they chanting? They're chanting, "I can't breathe." Now, we know who is known for saying that. We know who lost their life with those being their last words. They are chanting on the grounds of January 6th during the protest in unison and laughing, and you hear the humor behind it, but this is nothing compared to what I'm about to play. But you hear them chanting, "I can't breathe." So obviously the guy lost his life, regardless of how you may feel about the death of George Floyd, whether you think it's an enlarged heart attack, COVID, whatever you want to put in there. The guy did die, period. Doesn't matter how he died. They're actually making fun of the last words he stated. But as I said, and I want you to just bear with me.
And the son of the former president of the United States, Donald Trump Jr., posting an internet meme mocking the attack. You see it right there. I'm not going to read the details of it or try to get into it. Is decency dead? And the hammer and the Halloween costume thing from Donald Trump Jr., it's beyond the pale in every respect. Like, let's not even talk about it anymore. It's just, it's vile.
This is only going to get worse. I mean, you haven't. I got two more of these before we start taking calls. This is going to get worse. Now, in regards to what they're talking about, this is what they're talking about. After the assassination attempt on Nancy Pelosi's husband, Don Jr., took to social media and posted a hammer with a pair of underwear. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with a hammer while wearing his underwear. So there's no way to deny this is not making fun of an assassination attempt on Nancy Pelosi's husband. I don't think it's even up for denial. And of course, he even put in the comments that it was about Nancy Pelosi's husband. But as I said, it's going to get it's not going to get any better. That's all I can tell you. I want to make sure I got this queued up right, because it's just not going to get any better whatsoever. Like I said, what's happening with Charlie Kirk is terrible. What happened to Charlie Kirk, folks making fun of what happened to him, is terrible. I'm just simply saying that it is not something we should do at the loss of anyone's life.
Oh, and the parents are so proud. Being born.
I got this queued up right, because it's just not going to get any better whatsoever. Like I said, what's happening with Charlie Kirk is terrible. What happened to Charlie Kirk, folks making fun of what happened to him, is terrible. I'm just simply saying that it is not something we should do at the loss of anyone's life.
Oh, and the parents are so proud. Being born, beep. And we'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi, who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
Now, that's obviously right after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked. He's clearly joking about it. You hear the audience is joking about it as well. That's an assassination attempt on a man's life, and that is the president clearly making fun of it. This one here, though, is probably going to take the cake, because it is indeed coming from the late Charlie Kirk himself. I wish I didn't even have this clip to play you. I found it off of another liberal site, but it doesn't matter what site it's on, because it's coming out of Charlie Kirk's mouth. And this is indeed in reference to Nancy Pelosi's husband as well.
We don't even need an explanation. Let's just This guy's a hero, and here's Charlie Kirk.
I mean, I'm looking at Politico.com. I'm looking at the New York Times. I'm looking at all these places, and there's a little bit of mention here. For example, Politico says top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault. Of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame for gay schizophrenic nudists that are hemp jewelry makers breaking into somebody's home, or maybe not breaking into somebody's home? Why are we to blame for that exactly? And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like $30,000 or $40,000. Bail him out and then go ask him some questions.
Now he's talking about someone should go bail out the guy who tried to take the life of Nancy Pelosi's husband. That's Charlie Kirk saying that. I just want to, we're going to talk about this simply from a standpoint of, as you guys know, I stated that making any type of light or jokes about his death is no laughing matter. But I just wanted to run this before we start talking about this, because there is a lot of historical precedent. Apparently people making reference or jokes or things about him passing away, it didn't start with Charlie Kirk. But I do have to ask, why are there so many folks that are outraged about individuals making light of the loss of Charlie Kirk, folks who have a history of doing it themselves? So I do want to talk to you folks about it. And I see somebody in the comments,